Although they did not get the victory and leave with UFC gold, the defeated fighters in the UFC 275 championship fights definitely have a lot to be proud of and should keep their heads held high. In the main event, Glover Teixeira's title reign comes to an end just months after it began with a submission loss to Yuri Prochazka in an absolutely wild fight of the year type of main event. It was a great fight with him and Prochazka for almost the entire 5 rounds. Teixeira ultimately made a few key mistakes in this fight and got himself submitted for the first time in his illustrious career. But as he said afterwards, despite being 42 years old, he wants to drudge on. He is going to continue fighting. And right after the event, he calls for a rematch with Prochazka. I don't know if that's going to happen right now. I think probably one win might be needed for him to get back on track. Maybe if some other things fall apart in the division, certain fights can't happen, injuries, he could maybe luck into getting a rematch right away. But I think when you look at the scheme of things right now, it's probably going to take a win for Teixeira. And if you look at the fights that are currently booked in the division, who's available, who Teixeira has not fought yet, the one that stands out to me would be against a returning Dominic Reyes, who of course we have not seen since 2021 when he suffered a brutal spinning back elbow knockout loss to one Yuri Prochazka. It would make sense to pair the two guys who most recently lost to the new champion against each other. Reyes, of course, was on a very high upward trajectory in this division, and he is suddenly on a 3-fight losing skid with defeats to John Jones, Jan Blachowicz, and most recently Prochazka. I think he would relish the opportunity to come back and take a fight with someone like Teixeira that could elevate him right back into the mix with a win. So I think that is the fight to make. The question is just how long will Glover Teixeira be out with all the damage he took in this fight. Definitely needs to take a respectable layoff before he gets back in there. And then, of course, in the co-main event, Taila Santos comes as close as you could possibly get to dethroning Valentina Shevchenko, a performance that she, again, should be very, very proud of. She came closer than anyone to beating Shevchenko at 125 pounds, pushed her like no other fight, and one judge sitting cage side did score this fight in her favor. So that has got to be a massive confidence boost for Santos going forward and give her that belief that maybe if she does some things differently, if she continues to work hard and evolve, she could maybe get Shevchenko in a rematch scenario and build off what she did here. But she, of course, took some damage in this fight. That eye from the head clash was a mess. We don't know the extent of the injury she suffered in this fight, but I imagine it could take a little while for all that to heal. But when she is back and ready to go, I think she fits, of course, right at the top of this weight class, and there is a number of fights that could make sense for her. It's just when will she be healthy? When will she be ready to go? But I think you could really put her against anyone in that top 10. Jennifer Maia and Andrea Lee, Joanne Wood, pretty much anyone who is available with her timeline. I think these are some of the fights that could be logical for her to get back on track and try to push for that second title shot. So hard to say exactly who Santos should fight in terms of the specific opponent. I think some things have to shake out, some fights have to play out, but she is right there, and I think maybe 1-2 wins, and she has a great case for a rematch. So as I said off the top, disappointing results for Teixeira and Santos, the Brazilians, but ultimately I don't think hope is lost for them going forward. They will be in UFC title fights again going forward as long as they do the right things and get some wins. I think there's a lot to be hopeful for these two coming out of UFC 275.